A screech was heard outside and Jim, Sally and Ben turned to look out the window past the glowing sigils.
They grow bolder,
Sally said.
which means I must reach the ritual site before nightfall to prepare with the elders.
But what about the humans?
Jim asked.
As town sheriff, they are still my responsibility, Shushus. I cannot leave them to their fate.
Sally put her hand on his arm.
Ain, your only duty now is to marry Riley. You have trained and prepared your deputies and our human allies, and I have prepared and trained my tribe meticulously over the last few decades for this very day. The Kuwatha have already gathered the humans into safe areas that are surrounded by our protection spells, and that includes the school. Marie is also safe with Cynthia inside the bookstore. We will take care of the humans while you and Ben get Mary and Shelley and see them safely into Kuwatha territory. I will join you soon.
Sally was right. The halfling was more important.
I will go to her immediately,
Jim said. Sally smiled at Ben.
I know your mother has prepared you well to be the Aeon's second.
He bowed his head.
She has, Shashas. I won't fail you or Mary.
Ben knew the little girl well. She and her mother had visited with his family many times since she was a baby to ensure that he and Mary became good friends, because she needed to trust him when the time came. And it seemed that the time had now arrived.
I know you won't, boy. Be brave and trust the decisions Jim makes, even if they seem odd or wrong to you. Remember, he is not a human with limited vision and instincts.
Jim raised his eyebrows at that and she grinned at him.
You'll remember soon,
she promised.
Trust that gut of yours, Jim. It has never let you down before.
Jim nodded because she spoke true. His gut had saved him countless times as a beat cop and later as a detective. He wondered what Marie would make of him now and the fact that their kids were half human. Despite having just awoken to his true self, his love for his family burned even brighter now, and he couldn't wait to share who he was with them. He didn't know why, but he sensed that they wouldn't be too shocked about it. The three of them made their way back into the main office to find Sylvia and Mike still hiding behind the big desk, and Jim saw that the walls, ceiling and floor were covered in glowing sigils. Mike looked up at Jim and gave him a lopsided grin.
About damn time,
he rasped. Jim grunted in surprise.
You knew? Yep. That's why you got the job and not me. Not that I could handle it anyway with this damn faulty ticker of mine.
Sylvia, help me with Mike,
Sally said. The young woman was one of 3 other humans working in the department. Only one deputy, Stephen McKay, had been a Bagadon. A changeling in fact, and one of the good ones, who wanted peace more than war. Those Bagadons were rare, but they existed, and they came mostly from the ranks of the changelings. It seemed that being human for over 200 years had changed their feelings and attitudes towards humans, and Sally hoped it stayed that way when they returned to their true forms. Sally and Sylvia helped Mike up and took him to one of the padded office chairs where he plonked down with a sigh and closed his eyes.
Is there anything you can do for him?
Jim asked Sally.
Not right now, unfortunately. I need to preserve my energy to perform the ritual and keep the Bagadons at bay. I just hope things don't turn into a full-out war.
A sudden rush of memories passed through Jim's mind of him fighting many battles countless millennia ago, and he ran a hand over his face. His nerves were still a little frayed, but time would bring every memory back gradually and settle him more comfortably into his immortal self. The deep sadness he felt for Mike's situation surprised him, and he patted his friend's shoulder in sympathy. It was as though waking up had made him a lot more sensitive to others' feelings and needs. He didn't like feeling helpless when he was such a powerful entity that had been created specifically to protect all life.
Don't be so glum, Anne,
Mike said.
I've done my part and now the rest is up to you. I will be forever grateful for your guidance, Mike. You made me the sheriff I am today and helped me become a better guardian too, even though I wasn't aware of it at the time. Sheriff Gaines played a big part too,
Mike said.
He's with the other Kuartha elders at the ritual site right now, and they're waiting for you, so get your ass down there.
Mike gave him a weak push.
Our little savior needs you.
Jim grinned at him.
Yes, sir.
Sally walked Jim to the security door after he'd collected more ammunition, slung his shotgun around his body, and attached a handgun to each side of his belt. It made him feel like the gunslingers of old, and he smiled to himself. Behind them, Ben waited with 2 fully loaded shotguns and a handgun also attached to his hip. Sally walked once around Jim, muttering an incantation under her breath. Then she did the same for Ben.
Move quickly and follow only the paths that your instincts tell you to follow,
she instructed.
Don't hesitate, Aen, for hesitation could mean death.
He nodded grimly.
Shelley is nearly home, and I sense that Mary was able to hide behind the protection spells her mother created for her. But if the Bagadons become impatient, they will risk pain and even death to get to her. If she is taken into Bagadon territory and is delivered to the Gunthu, she is forever lost to us. So you must hurry.
I will,
he said, then looked over his shoulder at Ben.
Let's go, and stay close.
Yes, sir, Ben acknowledged. Drawing in a deep breath to steady his nerves and keep his mind clear. It was his responsibility to keep the protection spells Sally had woven around them active and in place. The men left through the security door that Sally had opened for them, then ran out onto the sidewalk and began jogging towards Mary's house. Unless they ran into any Bagadons, they could get there easily within half an hour. Their advantage was that the Bagadons didn't know that there was an Aen in town, and Jim would use that to his advantage if the need arose. The Bagadon drank the thick, warm blood of the human while he squirmed and gurgled beneath him. The decision to go hunting before returning to the human girl and finding a way past the protection spells had been a good one. There was still enough daylight to have some fun. Its kind had been waiting a long time for this day, and although the surprise change had been agonizing, it had been worth it to be free again. There must have been a very good reason for the Gantu to blow the great horn before winter solstice. Breaking the human's neck with a loud crack, the Bagadon took one more bite. then turned to retrace its steps back to the house. It would take at least 2 hours to reach the heart of the great forest where the Gantu was waiting, so it had better get to the girl and begin their journey. Although night was its most comfortable environment, the elementals could use the light of the moon and stars to find them in Shabak before they reached Bagadon territory. The conjured fog was beginning to lift, revealing the destruction the Bagadons had wrought on Hallow Grove. But the humans deserved it. Over 100 years ago, they had decided to break their oaths and had stopped leaving the required sacrifices in the forest. The changelings had to return regularly to their territory to undergo the rejuvenation magic of the Gantu to stop the aging process of their human halves. But those who had undergone the painful shift into human form could at least maintain their appearances by feeding off the magic in the forest. In the past, the changelings had died out naturally from old age, a small sacrifice to prevent the humans discovering what they were. But when the sacrifices had stopped, the Bagadons had been forced to use their earth magic to make themselves look like younger versions of themselves, so that their unnaturally long lives would not be noticed by the humans. These younger versions had then pretended to be their own younger descendants and had buried empty coffins. This way, their presence had never been discovered. The Bagadon loped eagerly up the steep slope towards the girl's house, and as it passed by an oak tree with a thick canopy, its legs were shot out from under it. Grey flesh and green blood splattered the sidewalk, and before the Bagadon could screech and alert its brethren to its location, its head exploded, sending brain matter, gelatinous eyeballs, and sharp teeth flying in all directions.